Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha vīryaṃ karavāvahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishāvahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nisha Charachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Janakalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakarnamastvanirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaha Te Mayi Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yadi manyase suvedeti dabhramevapi nunam tvam vetha brahmano rupam yadasya tvam yadasya deveshu athanu mimamsyamevate manye viditam naham manye suvedeti no na vedeti vedacha yo nastadveda tadveda no na vedeti vedacha yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasaha avidñātam vijānatam vidñātam avijānatam pratibodha viditam matam amrutatvam hi vindate ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ vidyayā vindate'mṛtam. Upanishad Rishi started with what are the possible misunderstandings that can come in self-knowledge. He started the second khanda with this idea that what are the possible misunderstandings that can come in spiritual knowledge or self-knowledge, Atma Vidya. Where can we go wrong? So the first thing was, he said, Yadi manyase suvedeti. If we have mixed up some kind of conditioning in Brahma, either it is Adhyatma Parichinna Brahma or Adhidaiva Parichinna Brahma. Parichinna means conditioned. Some conditioning at individual level I have mixed up in Chaitanya, or if I have mixed up some conditioning at cosmic level, and then I say that I know Brahman very well. So that is the first place where we can make some mistake. This discussion we had seen earlier, elaborately. Nedam yadidam upasate. That was the repetition in the last few mantras of first chapter. But what was the main point there? That if I have mixed up some conditioning with total, and I say that this is Brahma. So there Upanishad Rishi said, that is the first place. Adhidaiva Parichinna Brahma is not its absolute nature. And the second place was Adhyatma Parichinna Brahma. And because we saw several Darsanas, we got a more closer glimpse of it. And if I mix mind with Chaitanya, if I mix some intellect with consciousness, or this physical body with consciousness, that mixed up understanding is an erroneous understanding. So what is the right understanding? That is in this third mantra. Yasya matam tasya matam. Having negated all conditionings, what remains? That is Sakshi. Having negated all conditionings, what remains? That Sakshi I am. In this way, who understands? That is Samyak Jnanam. Not the one who says, I know Brahman very well. Because knowing can happen only of some conditioned thing. Or in other words, only some conditioning can be known. So if I say I know Brahma, that means I'm mixing Brahma with some conditioning. And what is Brahma? Brahman is that because of which knowing takes place. Right? Brahma is not an object to be known. It is that because of which even this act of knowing takes place. So therefore it is said, understand Brahma in this way. Samyak Jnanam, how to understand it. Now how do I start? Where do I go? What is the first step? He said start from thoughts. Pratibodha vindate'mṛtam. It is that doorway which is available to everyone, and I don't have to worry about nature of thought. At the seat of meditation, okay, conditions apply. During the day, we should worry a lot about this. During sadhana, we should worry a lot about nature of thoughts. Sadhaka should not endorse any kind of ashubha vritti. But in the seat of meditation, having taken care of that for 23.5 hours, in that half an hour that I do, there it is said, in and through every thought, shift attention to Chaitanya. And this part, we saw several Darsanas. Can we just recap the names of the Darsanas? What was the first one we saw? Nyaya Darshana. Second was Vaisheshika. Third was Bauddha, Kshanika Vijnanam. Fourth was Yoga Darshana. Of course, first was Vedanta Darshana. We saw first Vedanta. Then second you can say is Nyaya. Third is Vaisheshika. Fourth is Bauddha. Fifth was Yoga Darshana. This Saturday to Saturday class wipes off many things in between, you know. Fifth one was Yoga Darshana. And then another matam was there which said Sakrut Vijnanam. That Pratibodha Vindate'mṛtam refers to Mahakara Vritti. It doesn't refer to all thoughts. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji refuted all of them systematically and said Pratibodha Vindate'mṛtam refers to every thought. Recognize that consciousness in and through every thought. Now we will see the second line of this mantra. ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ, vidyayā vindate amrutam. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji writes very beautiful pointers and gives some very unique examples which are not there in Shankar Bhashya. Okay, they are there in commentaries and sub-commentaries. I won't read the Sanskrit part, but just the example we will see. Okay. This is the same thing what we discussed. Possible misunderstandings, two of them. Mantra 2.1, 2.2. What is the right understanding? 2.3. Negate all conditionings. What remains? That is me. And thought is the doorway to consciousness. We should not wonder whenever we sit down for meditation how to start after studying Kenopanishad. Start with thought, shift attention to Chaitanya. And now, what is mahima of that Chaitanya? There we can have variety. Okay, like in the last session we had done, I am Panchakosha Sakshi. I am the witness of Panchakoshas. In today's session, what did we do? I am Avasthatraya Sakshi. So the later part of that was, having shifted attention to Chaitanya, Now to do what? He says meditate upon mahima of that Chaitanya. Because of ignorance, I think I am part of waking state, and I go from waking to dream to deep sleep. And Upanishads tell me I am the substratum in which waking comes and goes, dream comes and goes, deep sleep comes and goes. So like this, we can take different facets and meditate upon mahima of that Chaitanya. Okay. So now Bhagavan is elaborating on this particular line, ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ, vidyayā vindate'mṛtam. So what is so great about this? Let us say you put, the comma over here, ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ. So the question becomes, Atma is there for everybody, right? Atma is not there only for few people, and then others are niratmaka. It says, no, Atma is there for everybody, but we don't see vīryaṃ in everybody. Fear has not gone away from everybody. So how will you explain that part? ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ. So there Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji gives few more pointers. He says, Atma vidyakrutam tu vīryaṃ, ātmanā eva vindate. So vīryaṃ comes not directly from Atma. He says it comes from Atma Vidya. Knowledge of this fact that I am pure consciousness, I have nothing to do with these conditionings. That Vidya gives vīryaṃ. This point we had seen in Vedanta Sara also. If you take Jnani and Ajnani, physical body is common for Jnani, physical body is common for Ajnani. Means Ajnani also has physical body, Jnani also has physical body. No difference, right? Pancha Mahabhutas, both are made of. When you come to Atma of Ajnani, Atma of Jnani, both are the same. Right? There is no difference in Atma of Jnani. It is not better than Atma of Ajnani. But now the question is, what is the difference then? Because in one person we see samsara, another person there is absence of samsara. Hopefully that is not common for both. Otherwise, what is the purpose, of calling Jnani and Ajnani? Jnani also is, rota hua Jnani, Maharaji would say. So the difference is, in one there is Atma Vidya, in another there is no Atma Vidya. So what became the main hetu for samsara and lack of samsara? Not Atma. So ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ it is said. But that strength came from Atma Vidya. Okay. If Bhagavan had stopped over here, everything would have been easy. We just understood, right? Okay, it is not Atma, it is Atma Vidya. But you see, he adds later part of that line. He says, Atma Vidya krutam tu vīryaṃ, ātmanā eva vindate. And this part is tricky, we should pay attention. This vīryaṃ, this strength which came in our life, that strength which had the ability to remove the fear of death, that is this vīryaṃ. That strength which has the ability to remove the fear of death, he says this ability came from Atma only. Careful, You see in the first part, what did he say? Atma Vidya krutam vīryaṃ. This strength came from Atma Vidya. But what did this strength have the ability to do? It could remove the fear of death. Now, where did this ability come from? He says it came from Atma only. Okay. Now let us take some examples. Hopefully this will open up more. Okay. Strength born out of knowledge is attained from Atman alone. Okay. Atma Vidya krutam tu vīryaṃ, ātmanā eva vindate. Okay. Strength born out of knowledge is attained from Atman alone. First example given is, let us say there is a yajna happening. Some homa is there, some yajna is happening. And the Panditji over there says, one who is a Brahmana is entitled to come and offer some ahuti. Okay, one who is Brahmana can come and offer ahuti. Now there are several people sitting. One person walks up, comes and offers ahuti. Now the commentator, Anandagiriji, says, now what gave that person the strength? What made him, he was sitting very quietly. What made him come and offer that ahuti? What was the reason why he was prompted into action? Hearing the statement that Brahmana can come and offer ahuti. But now he says, look at it carefully. Where did the strength really come from? Did it come from the statement, or was it already there in him because he is a Brahmana? Statement did not create the strength. Statement only made it available for that person. Brahmanatva was already there. That statement only manifested that Brahmanatva for that individual. Okay. In the same way, Atma Vidya does not create Amrutam, Amrutatvam. Amrutatvam is our Swarupa. But only the knowledge makes sure that this ability or strength is available for us. Bhagavan is not saying Atma Vidya is not important. All he is saying is just appreciate what is the role of both of them. Atma Vidya Krutam tu vīryaṃ. If Atma Vidya is not there, even though all of us are Shuddha Chaitanya, samsara will still remain. But because Atma Vidya has come, that Vidya has not brought something new. Atma is of the nature of Ananda. Atma is Nitya Mukta. That statement only told me this fact. Okay. Another example for the same thing. More contemporary example this is. You know, in airport, there are many people who are sitting, waiting for a flight. Now the attendant who is there, he comes and makes an announcement that for military personnel, we have a special offer. There is a lounge over here where your flight is late for a few hours. You can come and rest over there. Now many people are sitting. One person gets up and walks. Right? Now what brought the strength in that person? Because everybody was sitting. Nobody knew that this lounge is there and one person can go towards it. That announcement, right? That for military personnel, we are having this lounge. If your flight is late, you can come. But did that statement by itself bring that strength? No. Right? Because that person was already a military personnel to begin with, it just manifested that strength for that person. Okay. Third example. This is all from Bhashya. I am not giving my own example. Of course, this military personnel is a parallel of Brahmanatva, but look at this one. Third example given is, if there is some disease and person takes a medicine. Taking the medicine cures the disease. Headache is there, let us say. You took the medicine, it cured the disease. Now, where did that curing come from? It did not come from the act of taking. It came from the medicine which went inside and did the job. Okay. Three different things, but what is the main point here? Atma Vidya will reveal to us our nature as Nitya Mukta. Atma Vidya will not bring moksha in a particular time or space. So all these things that we hear, right? This Mahatma attained enlightenment in some place, at some time. All of that. Okay, I don't want to elaborate more, but we should hold on to Shastriya Parampara. Upanishads say, Desha Kala are an appearance in Atma. time and space are an appearance in consciousness. Don't mix up consciousness or try to find it in time and space. At some point, in some place, all of that is good to listen. Why are we so particular about this? The reason is, even the act of doing Shravanam, is it a permanent act or an impermanent act? Act is impermanent. Any Kriya for that matter is impermanent only. It will start in time, it will end in time. So opponent will ask, how does your impermanent cause give permanent result? Right? Because in Vedanta it is said, Atma vare drashtavyaha shrotavyaha. You should do Shravanam of Atma. So he is asking, your Shravanam is also impermanent. Brahmakara vritti is also impermanent. So how does this impermanent vritti give you permanent moksha? And whenever an opponent comes and says something, you directly jump on that opponent and say, your moksha is anitya, your method is anitya. He says the same thing applies for you also. So there this statement becomes very important. Atma vidyakrutam tu vīryaṃ, ātmanā eva vindate. The vidya is not creating moksha for us. Moksha is my own swarupa. It is just making it available for me. Sometimes people also have this question. If, let us say, there is somebody towards the end of their life, they go into a state where they cannot remember. Either something is there with brain, some stage is there where they are not having cognitive abilities. And in Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, whatever is our last thought, that will be our gati. So what if somebody is not having, that ability to remember anything? Mind has gone into some other state. So Upanishads say, the moment Tattva Jnanam takes place, that moment the sadhaka is liberated. The moment clear knowledge takes place, right at that moment, that sadhaka is liberated. So we don't have to have any doubts. What do we need to do later? Okay, in that way also we can look at it. Now let us come to Bhashya, page number 87. Katham punaha yathoktaya atma vidyayā amrutatvam vindate ityataha aha ātmanā svena rūpena vindate labhate vīryaṃ balam samarthyam dhana sahaya mantra aushadhi tapo yoga krutam vīryaṃ mrutyum na shaknoti abhibhavitum anitya vastu krutatvat atma vidya krutam tu vīryaṃ ātmanā eva vindate na anyena ityataha ananya sadhanatvat atma vidya vīryasya tadeva vīryaṃ mrutyum shaknoti abhibhavitum. Katham punaha yatoktaya atma vidyaya amrutatvam vindate ityaha. Why do you say that? Atma, ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ. Why do you say that atma vidya gives that vīryaṃ? Ātmanā svena rūpena vindate. Means this vīryaṃ is attained by abiding in our own swarupa. Labhate vīryaṃ balam samarthyam. Samarthyam means that ability. But Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji emphasizes over here that this vīryaṃ is specifically referring to fear of death. You see what he says. Huh? Now this line is the one of the sutra line for Bhajagovindam. Nahi nahi rakshati dukrun karane. You see what he says. He says in our life there are several things which can give us strength. What is the first thing? He says dhanam. Wealth, if it is there, it gives lot of strength. So many things we can accomplish. Life has less uncertainties if somebody has resources and wealth. Second is sahaya. Sahaya means people on whom I can depend upon. I say, I have a lot of contacts. This person has a lot of contacts. He can take help, support from all of them. That gives a lot of strength. Right? Physical strength is one thing, but these are other subtler strengths Bhagavan is pointing out. If somebody has sahaya, means help, that gives strength. Mantra gives strength. Mantra, not casual repetition. Huh? If somebody can do purascharanam and do siddhi of that mantra. Siddhi of mantra means that mantra starts speaking to that person. Keeps guiding that person at the right time. That kind of depth he has found in that mantra japa. Purascharanam, several rounds he has done of that mantra, that gives strength. Aushadhi, we know, right? Medicine gives strength. Whatever we can take for physical body. Tapa, if somebody can do austerity. What did Vishwamitra Rishi say? Dhik balam, kshatriya balam. Brahma balam, balam eva. This kshatriya bala that he had, he says it is nothing. This tapo bala, Brahma Tejasa balam which is there, it is nothing compared to all this power that I have physically. And Vasishtha Maharshi had that tapo balam. So that tapo balam is something which can give us lot of strength. And yoga krutam balam. If we have some yogic practices, that also can give lot of strength. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says over here, none of this strength is capable of removing fear of death. Yoga krutam vīryaṃ mrutyum abhibhavitum na shaknoti. It cannot remove the fear of giving up this physical body. Then what can, or why it cannot remove? He says anitya vastu krutatvat. The root of all these supports are anitya. How can anitya vastu give us absolute fearlessness? Freedom from fear of death means what? Absolute fearlessness. So he says anitya vastu, which is at the root of dhana, of wealth, help, mantra japa, all other sadhanas. He says it has come as a result of some action. Whatever is a result of action, it is not permanent. So it cannot remove that fear of death, which is absolute fearlessness. Is there nothing in this creation which can remove that fear? He says no. There is something called as ātmanā vīryaṃ. That is the line what we saw. ātmanā vīryaṃ, ātmanā eva vindate. But it is not that this sentence is going to bring us vīryaṃ by itself. It is already there. It will just make us aware of this fact that I am this Chaitanya which has nothing to do with conditionings. Later we will see one line from Bhagavatam. It's very beautiful. What is the essence of entire Bhagavatam? One of the main essence. There are several essence, but the main teaching is something related to this line. Na anyena ityatah ananya sadhanatvat. So this is the exclusive means for immortality. There is no other sadhana. There is no other means to become fearless. ātmanā ātmavidya vīryasya tadeva vīryaṃ mrutyum shaknoti abhibhavitum. Okay. This point we have seen in several other places also. But when it comes again, that thing should get more emphasized. What was the line that we saw? In Hastamalaka Stotram it was. That Brahma Vidya does not give moksha. Right? Now I'm studying Brahma Vidya for moksha. You say do sadhana, do shravanam and everything. And finally you say Brahma Vidya does not give moksha. How did you understand that? Moksha is my swarupa. Brahma Vidya only tells me that. It does not create something new, nor create something extraordinary. And if sadhanas are done, then mind is quiet. Mind doesn't get into unnecessary other things. It does not bother. So this sadhaka can enjoy both of it. Calmness at mind level, joy at mind level, along with jnana. Along with jnana. Yat evam ātma vīryaṃ ātmanā eva vindate ataha vidyayā ātma vindate'mṛtam amrutatvam nāyamātmā balahīnena labhyah iti ātharvane ataha samartho hetuh amrutatvam hi vindate iti yat evam ātma vīryaṃ ātmanā eva vindate. He is just concluding that whole portion. That this vīryaṃ which is there, it is actually gained from Atma alone, which is our own Swarupa. Because I am of the nature of Atma, because I am Nitya Mukta, I don't have to get moksha. That is the final understanding. Getting is only of something which I am not right now. So this Atma Vidya has come, it will reveal this fact for me. Atma Vidya krutam tu vīryaṃ ātmanā eva vindate. Ataha vidyayā atma vishaya vindate amrutatvam amrutam. Later part of that mantra was vidyayā vindate amrutam. So he says, what does that word vidyayā mean? Atma vishaya vidyaya, not any kind of vidya. That is why nahi nahi rakshati dukrun karane. It is not criticizing any of other vidyas. But only point Bhagavan Shankaracharya says there is, none of that knowledge is able to remove fear of death. This is the only knowledge which will help us accomplish that. And also on the previous slide we saw dhana, sahaya, mantra, aushadhi, tapa, yoga. Bhagavan is not criticizing all of that. We should not take that perspective also. He is saying everything is useful for a particular reason. If I am hungry, Brahma Vidya will not fulfill hunger. Right? If I need a place to stay, Brahma Vidya will not fulfill that need for a place to stay. For those kinds of things, I need karma. I need to be very diligent. All those things are for that. But if somebody says that alone is the goal of my life, now here Vedanta has some objection. Vedanta says all of those, they were sadhana, not sadhya. Right? They were the means, not the goal. Goal is Atma only. For that I have to get Atma Vidya. For that, whatever other things I need to do in my life, so that mind is conducive, they are not demanding my attention. That much I should do. Even physical body for that matter. He says purpose of exercise for a sadhaka is only that. Make sure that body doesn't demand attention. If I have to sit in meditation for a little bit, at that time it does not remind me. That much we should accomplish. Now Upanishad quotation is given from Mundaka Upanishad. Nāyam ātmā balahīnena nabhyah. This Atma is not attained by somebody who doesn't have this balam. Balam means what? That samarthyam, this knowledge. The connection is that vidya will bring that vīryaṃ. Atma vidyakrutam tu vīryaṃ, ātmanā eva vindate. For that he is giving this quotation. Iti atharvani. Ataha samartha hetuhu amrutatvam hi vindate iti. Therefore, whatever hetu I gave earlier, that is correct. What is the question? Where did this hetu come from? What is he referring to that he mentioned previously? You remember I had asked you in the last session to mark one line. Can you go back and check what that line was? Everybody found or no? Did you mark last time or no? Bodhasya hi pratyagatma vishayatvam cha matam amrutatve hetuhu. That word hetu came there. Now he is concluding. Or what did it mean over there? He said, Bodhasya hi pratyagatma vishayatvam. Means through a thought, if I am able to shift attention to pratyagatma, that understanding will become hetu for amrutatvam. Shifting attention from thought to consciousness. That is the first line, right? Pratibodha viditam matam amrutatvam hi vindate. Second line is ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ, vidyayā vindate amrutam. So that hetu which he gave there, that through this shifting of thought, shifting attention from thought to Chaitanya, that will give amrutatvam. He says that hetu is very, very appropriate. Okay. Ataha samartaha hetuhu amrutatvam hi vindate iti. Okay. Knowledge of the self is the means to immortality. Okay. This is the main essence. Now, this was the message from Srimad Bhagavatam. All of you know the story, right, of Srimad Bhagavatam. Parikshitji Maharaj gets a curse, 7 days he has. He goes and sits on the bank of Gangaji. And it's so beautiful. Look at the nature or punya of Parikshitji Maharaj. All Rishi Munis, they come and they say, we are going to sit by your side until you get moksha. And long description is there. Around 3 shlokas are there, just listing the names of the Rishi Munis. Whoever you can think of, Vedvyasji, Gautam Rishi, Uddalak Muni, all of them come and sit next to Parikshitji Maharaj. Then of course Naradji goes and brings Shukdevji Maharaj, and he goes on to give the teaching. The last shloka before Parikshitji Maharaj attains Samadhi, that is the shloka. Who is saying this? Shukdevji is saying to Parikshitji Maharaj. He says, Tvam tu rajan marishyeti pashu buddhim imam jahi. That, O king, give up this animalistic thinking. Pashu buddhi means animalistic thinking that you are going to die. Strong words, but it hits the point. Tvam tu rajan marishyeti pashu buddhim imam jahi. Najatah praga bhutodya dehavatvam nanangshasi. There was never a time where you are not there. There will never be a time when you will cease to exist. What takes a form and drops a form is his physical body. Dehavatvam nanangshasi. You are not this physical body. So give up this thinking that you are going to give up this physical body. Devotional text like Bhagavatam has such a powerful message. If we can reflect upon it, a lot of things will open up for us. Tvam tu rajan marishyeti pashu buddhim imam jahi. Okay. Now we have completed the main part of this chapter. The 4th mantra, it had elaborate bhashya. We saw almost every word of it, all the main ideas. Now this mantra is showing the urgency of moksha. Okay, urgency of moksha. This is another Moola mantra of Bhaja Govinda. If you ever wonder, right, where does Bhagavan Shankaracharya get all these, precise verses? It is from his work only, but it is rooted in Upanishad. But when you read Bhaja Govindam, you will never realize it's coming from these mantras. But when you read his bhashya, you will find a lot of echoes. What he's saying in Bhaja Govindam, what he's saying in bhashya. Iha chedavedi tata satyamasti. Iha chedavedi tata satyamasti. Na chediha vedi mahati vinashtihi. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha. Pretyasmallokadamruta bhavanti. Pretyasmallokadamruta bhavanti. Iha chedavedi dhata satyamasti. Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha. Pretyasmallokadamruta bhavanti. This mantra is oft quoted whenever the teacher wants to make the student realize that work hard. Iha ched avedit ata satyam asti. Having gotten this human body, having gotten this human form, if somebody comes to abide in the nature of truth, abiding in nature of truth is being the truth. Puja Guruji had written one line, he said, knowing the truth is being the truth. Brahmavid brahmaiva bhavati, it is the English version of that. If somebody can come to abide in that truth, then everything is good for that person. Na chediha vedit mahati vinashti. If somebody does not do that, having attained a human body, does not have Atma as the goal, and departs from this world without knowing that Atma, and lot of vinasha has happened. Vinasha means he has missed on a great opportunity. Why do we say that? So Bhagavan says in Bhashya, he says to get a human body is very, very rare. But most importantly, when we will get this again, he says that is even difficult to say, even more difficult to say. When I will get a human body again, he says we cannot give guarantee with that. If somebody has done a lot of punya karma, then that sadhaka, Bhagavan says in 6th chapter, will be born in a house of cultured person. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe. Means what? If he has put a lot of effort and is walking on this path, then Bhagavan says, even if journey is not finished over here, it will continue later in human form only. In other lokas, it is said it is more bhoga pradhana. Like in Swarga Loka for that matter, very few examples we find. We saw in Chandogya, right? Indra and Virochana, both of them go to Brahmaji. So it is not that there is no possibility at all, but it is said when a lot of bhogas are there and there is nothing to show limitations in them, then we will never think of moksha. Right? In Swarga, that is the condition, right? We saw in Vedanta Sara class also that whatever we can eat there, but without falling sick. Ability of this body is more, and all the sorrows which come from this body, they are less. They are there though. Why? Because Ashwini Kumaras are there. They are doctors, of Devatas. You cannot say there is no, disease or anything. It is there, but it is not such that it makes that person start thinking about life. They don't become mumukshus by going to Swarga. They're only bhubhukshus. Bhoga ichha is there, not moksha ichha. That's why going to Swarga is not a great thing. For a Vedanta sadhaka, going to Swarga is an obstacle. Best way is get vairagya here, get clear knowledge also right here. Nache diha vedit mahati vinashti. What is the nature of knowledge? Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhira. Bhuteshu bhuteshu means what? In each and every person, in each and every individual, recognizing that Atma Chaitanya. And knowing that this Atma Chaitanya is me, myself. Right? So removing that Bheda Buddhi between jivas, he says that is the nature of knowledge. The implication of that is in several vyavaharik things. Means this person's personality should become such that it is more accepting. Right? Gurudev's best example is, he would say, if my hand goes in my eyes, right? He would say, no matter if that person is High Court Justice, he will not say this hand should be punished. Why? Because how did it go in my eyes without asking? I don't see my hand as different from my eye. I don't see my eye as different from myself. But then he would say, what if it's your neighbor's hand? If that goes in, then many things will come out, no matter how great Vedantin we are. The point is, through this knowledge, lot of samsara in my life should go down. This Jnani looks at the whole world just as he looks at himself. Right? In dream, I see so many people, so many objects. All of that is my own waking mind. In the same way, in waking world, we see so many objects. Waking world, we see so many people. All of that is what? Not waking mind. All of that is Chaitanya. In Chaitanya, all of this is appearing. Okay. What is the result of this? Pretya asmat lokat amruta bhavanti. Having departed from this world, there is no punarjanma. There is no rebirth for this Jnani. Now, when we hear these mantras, right, in the beginning stage, we think, oh, what is wrong in rebirth? What is wrong in having a physical body? All these Upanishads and Acharyas, they again and again keep saying, no rebirth, no punarjanma and everything. So Bhagavan says, I will help you with that. I will help in appreciating the limitations of rebirth. So this Bhashya is going to just take that thread. He will introduce to us what is the limitation of taking a physical body. He says, you talk about claustrophobia, right? When you're in a small portion, just enclosed, especially in aircraft and all. He says, do you know that 9 months you're in that tiny little space? Do you want it again? Like that, he will start. Kashta khalu sura nara tiryak pretadishu samsara dukkha bahuleshu. Okay, so that we will see in the next session. We'll pause over here a little bit early. Our sevaks have to get ready for the 11 o'clock session. So we'll pause here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Today, 11 o'clock, we have a prayer meet for Pranji Bhai, and Puja Swami Shantananji is over here. Swamiji will be available to meet before 11 o'clock. If those who are coming, if you want to take Swamiji's blessings, so you can come a little early also. Drushyate tu agraya buddhya. Yes, very good. Shrunvantu vishve amrutasya putraha. Very good. All of you are making other connections while you are listening. Good. That is how this study should be.